Hey guys, it is Saturday afternoon here in the Philippines, and today for our showcase video, we're going to do a combination of an unboxing and a comparison. We're going to be unboxing the Kyosho Nissan GTR Nismo edition, and we are going to be comparing it to the MiniGT GTR R35. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a very equal comparison. I should say something like that, because Kyosho is based on a stock platform where the Mini GT is based on a wide body kit from Pandem and LBWK, Liberty Walk, as we see in front of us. I didn't bring out all three kits from Liberty Walk, just one. The one that's the most subtle, I would say, that just has the flared out rear fender and front fender. That way it's a little subtle. The Pandem, same thing. Pandem's a little more radical than the version 1 Liberty Walk. And then the GTR we're looking at from Kyosho is going to be the Nismo edition, so it has a little more performance to it. It's got a high wing in the back and such, so it's compatible to these, but still yet not the same thing. So I wanted to disclose all that at first before people criticize me and say you can't compare the two and blah, blah, blah. Basically what we're doing here is a comparison on scale, a comparison on the subtle, like small details, like such as mirrors, headlights, tail lights, trim, the construction of the casting, the materials used, the quality of the assembly, and things like that. So that's what we're looking at today. So, without any other delay, let's unbox the Kyosho so we can get him out here. And he's in bright red too, as you've probably seen in the thumbnail. Well, dark red, I should say. That's why I brought out the red Pandem and the red LBWK version 1 kit. So we kind of had the same color. That way the details on the body and such will be highlighted in the same manner. So the Kyoshos come in a cool little box, the window box, so if you don't want to open them, you can still see the car. That is one thing that I will say they are one up on MiniGT with, because MiniGT, if you don't open it, you're not going to see it. So this one, you don't have to open it to see it. They do come sealed with a little sticker. As you can see, mine's cut. I opened this earlier when I received it in the mail. Just got this in today, actually. So, on this end cap, you see it says Nissan 1/64 scale mini car collection, Nissan GTR and Nissan GTR Nismo. Then on the front, Nissan licensing. Then once again, Nissan GTR and Nissan GTR Nismo, Kyosho. Same thing on that end cap as the other. On the back side, you have your choking hazard recommendation for ages 15 and older. So they're a little different than the others, although here it says it's based for 14 years old. So kind of contradicting their two ages. But anyways, on the bottom side, it shows you a checklist of the cars that they have. The Nismos, which come in matte gray, red, and white, and then your standard GTR, which comes in like a silver, a blue, and a orange metallic. The orange metallic is actually a really pretty color. The matte gray is actually pretty cool too. May pick those up eventually, don't know. But anyways, let's get him out and take a look at him. So, another thing cool is the way that they house the car. When you take it out of this box, it kind of slides out, as you can see. Flap flips up, and then you have this cool little blister. And it actually isn't sealed with glue. It actually has a card insert that slides out, so that is pretty cool. So you don't have to worry about damaging anything. Everything goes back. The only thing that you have to damage to open these, you have to cut that little sticker seal. Then it just kind of pops out of the blister there. And voila. So then you get this cool little trading card. It's kind of laminated too, like a playing card actually. Then you have the picture of the three options available. So if you're collecting, you know which other two you need. Then on the back side, you have a picture of another one, and then everything written in, I think, Japanese or Chinese. And then it tells you about the GTR and such. And they do have the GT3 test cars, which are badass looking, actually. There's a white one, a gloss black, and a matte black one. I should have bought the matte black one when I had a chance. And I'll tell you why I'm favoring the matte paints here in just a moment. But anyways, they look totally kick-ass, like the GT3 Bentley from MiniGT. So, wish that MiniGT would actually launch the GT3 like test car. I know they do the pop race ones, but they should do the test car. That would be really cool. But anyways, here is the details of the GTR and such. Then that comes on a nice display stand, kind of like you could say M2 or somebody like that. So that's kind of cool. You can keep it there, or you can keep it in that little blister thing and take it out of the box. So there's a lot of display options with the Kyosho packaging. So with the packaging overall, I'm going to say Kyosho wins it, because if you are one that does not want to break the seal, you don't have to. You can still see your car. Unfortunately, with MiniGT, you have to break the seal to see your car if you get the, I don't know, I guess the international release box editions. Now, if you get the blister packs, like Miho exclusives, Japan exclusives, something like that, then it's okay. You can see the car, you don't have to open it. But with the standard box issues, you do have to open it. So these come screwed down with one screw, which is kind of nice. Sometimes you don't have to fight with two Phillips heads like M2 has. That's one thing I will say with the Chinese companies. They kind of simplified it. They put a hole with a nipple, as you can see there, to insert for one of the holes, and then one of the holes you screw. So that is one of the benefits of their models. I've noticed that on a lot of stuff here, even like the Yan Li limo Mercedes that I have, and also with like tarmac stuff, they kind of simplified it by doing that. So yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes with two screws. But anyways, here is your Nismo GTR. Really pretty car. With my personal opinion, the paint on this isn't bad. It's dull though. It's like, I don't know, it's not polished enough or something like that. It just looks very dull. And then you could see like the remnants of, I don't know if that's like paint rashing or something got in the paint, but you can see that starting on the top of the car, which Kyosho is notorious for. And this actually is not so visible when you're not zoomed in under like extreme lighting like I have in my house here. You don't really see this, like the deck lid like spotting. I never even noticed before getting it on camera. I noticed a little bit of spotting on the roof and that one bubble by the back window. Now, don't get me wrong, MiniGT has their flaws too, but the overall paint is okay. They may have a couple flaws like dirt in the paint, something like that, or where a tampo didn't lay on right. But this is just overall, I can't say bad paint, but just not shiny whatsoever, dull, and very bland looking for the car. Nice detail on the stock wheels, though. They look really good. The In-Attack or Nismo body package, side valences, and side skirts, whatever you want to call it. Rear bumper cover is different on the Nismos and the In-Attacks. Now, the In-Attack has a different front bumper cover, I believe, than the general Nismo. And I think they have different mirrors, and it has a taller wing. But that's about the only differences between them. Very subtle. So, if you want the In-Attack and you can't find it, the Nismo is almost as good. So, very nice. Rolls nice. And really, the axles are not that bent at all. As you can see, nice detail on the headlights and grille area. And then nice detail on the side trim, door handles, and then the rear is very nicely done. Nice red acrylic tail light lenses, the Nissan emblem, the GTR emblem, Nissan emblem, or Nismo emblem, I should say. So very well executed model. Now the base is plastic, screwed down, which is beneficial because you can swap the wheels if you want to. Then you have not much detail on this plastic base either. So very limited detail. But overall, not a bad model. I'm a little disappointed in the paint, in my opinion. Now, moving along, and actually I'll get my worst example for MiniGT paint to show you guys. That way I don't sound so biased with MiniGT. Although I am, as you guys know, I am kind of a religious collector of MiniGT, especially their GTR. So, this guy here is the one that I had some issues with the paint. Now, as you can see, it has a slight dull look on this side with a couple little tiny spots from the tampo. Now, overall, though, the black paint's really, really nice. Like, it really shines well compared to the red on this. It just is very bad. The red on the Kyosho. Now, the next side is the one that I had the issues with. So, as you can see, there's some spots in the paint there on the door above the LBWK, like under the mirror and such. And then there is a spot up here next to the mirror. I don't know what that is. If the paint, there was some oil on the body when they laid down the paint, or if that was in the tampo, because they usually lay the tampos in a big sheet to cover the whole door. I've actually taken some rubbing compound to this to make it a little bit better, but as you can see, there's some spots there. And then that area, which I would not call paint rash, I would say that was something that was on the body and it did not adhere good. Unfortunately, this is one of the big dollar MiniGT GTRs, and it's one of the ones that are really hard to find, so for it to have issues is a huge disappointment. I wish it would have been like, well, one of those guys back there. The more common to find, easier to find, and not so expensive. But, as I said, it's not too bad. So if you go from a distance and look at this black one, it looks pretty decent. If you go from a distance and look at this red GTR, it gets worse. It's actually better up front. So just the overall like paint quality on MiniGT is much nicer than Kyosho, at least comparing these. Now the Kyosho beads stuff is pretty nice, but with the Kyosho bead stuff, you're paying like 20 to 30 bucks a pop for those. Maybe more depending on the collectability, but if they're new issues, you're going to pay between 20 and 30 bucks each for them. This guy here cost me about 12 bucks. Same price as the MiniGTs. Exact same price. I don't know if that's SRP for this guy or if I just got a good deal on it or what, but I know Kyoshos are never ever less than 10 bucks. Even their cheap base models never are cheaper than 10 bucks each. So MiniGTs, same thing. 10 to 20 bucks each, depending on the availability, meaning the production number. If it's like international release, like the Pandem and the red Liberty Walk here, yes, those are going to be about 10 to 12 bucks each. Now, the Nagoya, Japan one, that actually, when it was brand new, probably would have cost you about 20 bucks. Unfortunately, now, because it's so hard to get your hands on, they're running upwards of like 50 to 70 bucks each now. So, that's the thing. If you don't get them when they're first launched, then you're going to pay big money for them. So if they're first launch and they're asking like 20 or 30 or 40 bucks for them, you might as well snag them up because they're probably only going to go up in value. Same thing with Kyosho too. I mean, it's the same thing. But overall, the Kyosho, I was highly disappointed on the paint. Now, looking at the red Pandem here, paint quality is gorgeous. Flawless, beautiful, metallic red. Shines like a diamond. Beautiful. Details on the side. And then let's do the scaling comparison. Overall, exactly the same. The length, the width. Now, granted, the Pandem is a wide body. As you can see, the flares on the fenders kind of pop out. But overall, the width is the same. So, the girth of the body is the same. Meaning from up to down, the thickness, I would call it. But you can see how poorly done the paint is on the on the Kyosho. Just not happy with that at all. Now the details on the side, like the fender badges, the door handles, are both nicely done on both cars. The body lines and such are pretty much the same, pretty good. Side glass, same thing. The mirrors are both nicely done. The Kyoshos are plastic, whereas the Pandem, well, the MiniGT is a stiffer rubber, which is a little more durable. Now, looking at the headlights, the Kyosho, I would say, actually has a nicer detail on the headlight. It looks three-dimensional and such inside, but the Kyosho, I'm not sure what year they're based on, because this, the headlight slightly changed on the GTR throughout the years. The Mini GT stuff is based on a 2009 GTR. This Kyosho, I believe, is based on like a 2017 or something like that. Not 100% sure on the year. So that may be the slight differences in the headlights. As you can see, like the Kyosho one looks like it's a little bit narrower and longer compared to the Mini GT, and that may be the difference in the year. So they both may be nicely done. The Mini GT I have no problem with, but if just looking at the details, I would have to say Kyosho wins it on the headlight detail. Overall body lines, stock body lines that is, they both are pretty good. Now, looking at the back of these cars, they both have nice GTR emblems. As you can see, the acrylic taillight lenses are both nicely done. I can't say one is better than the other. So then your exhaust tips and such, I would say the exhaust tips on the Mini GT are more defined than the Kyosho. Then the base. So not only is Mini GT metal with screws, so that beats Kyosho right there, but the detail is still lacking on the Mini GT, but it's much more defined than the Kyosho. Now, the wheels. The wheels, there's no comparison because the wheels on the Pandem, well, they're based on the Pandem style wheel that they use. The Kyosho is based on standard Nismo GTR. So they're nicely done too. Can't say one is better than the other. For a stock GTR, right now, Kyosho will beat the hell out of Greenlight, out of Hot Wheels, and any of the other US brands. So there's no comparison. Now, the only other one that I haven't bought yet because of the paint issues is the Tomitech, the TLVN GTR. Because a lot of them get these paint rashing issues. And as I see with Kyosho, it's starting to be present too. Mini GT, the only car I've noticed paint rashing issues on is the MK4 Supra. It seems to have some paint rash issues on the very edge of the roof here, and then on the very edge of the hood there, and sometimes on the passenger side. So that's why I stopped collecting the MK4 Supra. I love that car, I love that casting, but I don't want to invest the money in it if the casting is going to disintegrate in a few years. I'm worried that that may be a zinc problem, not a paint problem, because it's very obvious on the red models, the black models. The white model, it's there, but you really have to look for it because the white hides it. So that's why I kept my white one, just to see what's going to happen. I avoided buying the new blue one and the jade green one because of that issue with the paint. The MK4 3000 GT, though, seems to be pretty good. I have not noticed any issues with it so far. So hopefully they hold up. So then overall, I'm going to say I'm still a huge fan of MiniGT. I'm going to go with the MiniGT hands down. I wish they would do a stock GTR. Something like this, a stock Nismo, the In-Attack, or something like that would be great to see. I am going to buy another Kyosho, same model, but I'm going to get it in matte gray. That way the paint is already supposed to be dull looking. Has a little bit of metal flake in it, but it's supposed to be dull, and it does not show paint rash issues. That's what I was trying to tell you guys earlier about why I was favoring the matte paints. Because the matte paints usually do not show your paint rash. Even if they do rash, I don't know, it's just not apparent. Like, whenever you look at the MiniGT Lamborghini Aventador on the hood, there's always spots on them. No matter what model, you can see it. On the light blue one, especially on the black one. The yellow one, you can see it, but it has to be in the right lighting. Same thing with the red one. The matte gray one, however, you don't see it at all. So it's kind of, it almost acts like a filler primer, actually. So that's why I prefer the matte paints on the Kyosho stuff. So I'm going to opt for this car again, but in the matte gray. And we'll unbox that in a week or two whenever it comes in. So guys, that's my overall download on the Kyoshos and the MiniGTs. Both very nice models. Kyosho is beautiful for stock, but the paint is a problem to me. Just where it's just so dull and shitty looking. It looks worse than Hot Wheels. Like the $1 Hot Wheel car. I mean, Hot Wheels shines better than this. This is very bad. I mean, it may be like a semi-gloss, but I don't think so. I think it should have been more than that. I don't think it's been rubbed out. I think that's the problem. They just cleared it and left it and put it together. So, yeah, it just needed buffed out or something. So, yeah, that's the downside of this one. But the rest of the car is beautifully done. That's why I said the matte gray one probably will be kick-ass. So I will get that one. So, still don't have a problem with Kyosho, but I'm just pointing out the obvious. So, for scale, though, they're both spot on. For details that are stock details, they're both beautifully done. I can't say one is better than the other. But if they are based on the same years, I will say Kyosho has a better headlight. But outside of that, they're both kick-ass models. But I would say to buy your Kyoshos opened and look at the paint before you buy them. Because of, well, as we can see, this one. But anyways, guys, that's my rundown on this. So hope you enjoyed it. And I will be back next week for another unboxing. We're going to be focusing on MiniGT stuff again. I'm going to be unboxing some very rare ducktail models along with the high wing counterparts. We're going to be doing the Zero Fighter number 6, the number 32 Magic Bronze, and then we're going to be doing the number 99 Molotov Fighter. All these ducktails with their high wing counterparts. So make sure to tune in for that. And then I left an icon here on the right for you to subscribe. If you have not done so yet, please do that. There's an icon here on the left for another comparison video I did a while back on the Datsun 510. So take a look at that if you like these comparison videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your support. I will talk to you come next weekend or next week. Enjoy your weekend.